Alright, so this is Laura Newman. She's calling from Philly.
Okay. Okay, so this poem is called Forget Again. In this book of poems is more forgetting than even you wanted. In order to read this sentence, forget rosemary, thyme, how to go to sleep. Forget what certain words make nerves fire like tunnels you dig through fucking back into a field you escaped to as a child after a great calamity, the grass neon green, chest high. Forget the scars the surgeon left behind on purpose after your leap. You keep telling me to listen, but I can't stop defending my latest subject position. Shh, you say, you're missing it, love. Or maybe just the words themselves, begging to be erased one by one as they're read, like the lover crying out for this one certain touch, and that only would save us. Surely this kind of writing or reading or whichever we're doing where our technologies can't help but that bump creates a new and improved subject position. When did talking start to require such a decollage of tools? Do we really need to keep 5 kinds of product, 7 different sizes of dildo on hand at all times? Are we really that specific? And indeed, what kind of strange creatures have we made of ourselves that take erasing for reading, a want for a want greater the house? Gonna read another poem. This one is called 250. Is the sound okay? Can you guys hear the enunciation?
Yeah, we're hearing most of it.
Okay. 250. There are problems with this. There are problems with this word's journey, like what kind of time it happens in, or how many steps to the top of the mountain monastery, and will anyone be waiting for us when we get there? And what are they doing in the meantime, like now? Like, does the ending have a sexual preference? And do we pack enough cash or have to keep stopping at ATMs along the way? These things to be decided are less than, like, burning fuel and the borrowed BMW with a rainbow sticker that keeps going back. Things are deactivated verbs, I say. And you agree, nodding silently, sort of. But there are stories with this problem. There are problems with the stories figures word. Even so, going out there to trace what's already been lost, or to remind yourself that what you're agreeing to give up is applying dry ice to an active wound. How we cross out in stop animation each other as if from a list: love, night, 8, coast, cruise. I've got a few prose bits, and I put some numbers on them just now, so this is the first one.
Okay.
It's called number 1. 1. While you take bodily deposition, I try this other, wanting to gather a reader to want me back, even when the hole's there, even when I'm not up for whatever's in a boundary but a book, fluorescent haunting around the edges of what we used to call experience. Now it's I want. Every phenomenon inked into its own surrender that is rubber we burn passing through. This poem is called Shake, Shimmer, Shine. We departed and weighted it carefully. Our empty coffee cups like children, pushing memories of each other into lakes in the 90s or 80s, tossing instead feces and kelp guts. The sand because reason was always a beach then. Mistakes were smaller then too. Gutter dust for glitter, gleaming. That wasn't you. Disgust is delight. I'm squinting from the weather. The weather's making me do it. To the other exes, I propose a toast, non-alcoholic, while driving, to inscribing. More of it like painting than the speedometer will account for, while all the what begins to geographical feature your face.
Do you have people over there?
This one's called The Good Kind. No! No one, not a soul.
You're just there by yourself?
Just you guys.
Oh.
I'm all by myself.
Alright.
You want to hear another one, Sarah?
Uh-huh.
Okay. The Good Kind. Everything you can need is dirty. What's not dirty? Lush soaps. They're cupcakes, turtles, bath bombs, exploding fake seaweed. Nobody needs ocean in the bathtub. It's not even possible to need that. You're a lush soap, you say, then. I sent that dirty text by mistake. It's hard to know what's necessary these days. And what about this one, you ask, and met me behind the bleachers before need became a dirty word like those in books. Okay, here's number 3.
Okay.
On the phone, your no rivers other no's like the USA map. Some are blue, some green. None of them adequately violate the color schematic in a queer poetic equivalence a crucial contour. Some of us chase it down half unceasingly as the star of Bethlehem that threatens near, far, between, in spite of, and within. Story a weed through the language nets, cast wide. You're still saying it takes over. Your disposable body a thoroughfare I wander into, landscapes all bloated conifers, G-chat, and a sudden strong influx from without. Please stop. On the subject, touch. Stop all this tremble foaming, or else get in the back. Whereas old forms on a beach. I can't, torn. The remnants live-action color out of no book, a particular kind of book. Nor is it counterfactual, saying, see you later, see you beach. I'm going to read just a couple more from this series, and then something different. This is called a phase diagram. The room is only a place I happen to find myself sitting in for a portrait, waiting for a book or a painting to happen to me. One of them will happen first, then the other. This was the closest I came to being unfaithful while you were sleeping, and I snuck out to the park at midnight to look at the snow. The book, grown up, reads its own blanks now. This is the kind of story that asks to be erased as it's read. It begs, actually, the way I used to ask you to hit me over and over, creating a blank space or another time in the middle of sensation, and never being enough. What kind of person is it that can call erasing reading, kissing but not spanking enough? Reading it makes you over into just that, the kind of person we all never wanted to become, the kind capable of sleeping through snow. You can be that, or you can be the one who leaves your lover unconscious while geysers, glaciers, whole colonies of dry ice threaten, springing up from the middle of the page. You can't see them? All I see is doubt, letters, paper. If I were here, I'd find and erase every last drop of anything resembling what was once or will in any state ever become water. Do you feel safe enough yet? This book will keep you sexless, warm, and dry in all kinds of inclement weather, as long as you keep reading it. You are reading it, right? Just keep reading. Don't stop, whatever you do. Think. Don't think. Lather soap in all the right places. What are the right places, you ask, producing effect, the way an action substituted for a shirt? How N is 2N for you? Well, I don't think you traffic. N is to choose. On them a figure doesn't exist, but would maybe A, B, or C. I pick succulents, the better to see you with. Does the world really need us that much? The question is betters. If I show up for the succulents, will you take care of the comma? Is a question tying the knots. When you shrug, choice became an emotion without action or initiation. Are you up for being the description tonight or the comma? Who gets to tie up who? I'm hungry and the won't pre-invented. This is totally weird, but great. Okay. Okay. This poem is called Cargo. Cargo. I can't remember to stop needing more books. On shore, on shelves, they bloat. I fling them at other things out into the uncharted and pixelated waters of how this talk was supposed to go. Checking in. Am I doing it right, like you imagined it? With swigs of coffee, eat rocks in this beer now. Let's not take the book's boundary begins about whatever happened to us happened first to all that yes. Do you want me to fuck you yet? Enough waves, enough wanting. The question I tossed between us like a rope. Cool, thanks you guys. And I have one more poem, and like a tiny bit longer than the rest were. And those were kind of my ocean poems, and this one's kind of a forest poem. So I'm going to read the forest poem, and it's called The Word for World is Forest Poem, which comes a little bit from a short story by Ursula Le Guin called The Word for World is Forest. But that also, of course, comes from other things. So here goes.
All right.
In the off frequencies, to begin degenerates, giving off charge, image every time. Well, while you were busy messing all the trees, then pissing into them, standing up. Image is whatever has to leave the poem forest the minute you enter it. I have this crush. To hate books, to eat military gel from little packets during 40 days of field training, how event shelters one from the other, from the fact shelters from, then into books, more books. Image leaves, what enters image takes image, time. You touch toward the poem to begin it, a runner touches off on ground. Since the poem is not an other you, both move then but not opposing, some of that touch might not make it. In another book, oh no, the distance. You missed the poem. Your hand is spatially challenged now, but the poem won't let me, says no, don't do that. It fights, don't measure the distance, ride bikes over the distance, we get in dope from lines. You say this place doesn't yet exist. I know it does, the flat line over it strung myself. You say it's not flat enough. I tell your modernism to shut up and fight. Forest with drunkenly out there on the line. I'm not sorry. Sorry is for Canada. It's what happens when we get a little north, to that other tree line, the one lacking all the good stuff. What image takes breath is his choice. Can hear it in between the still there trees, the there in the we who likes getting it wrong forest. Warbling. If we are serious about valuing what is trans or fluctuant, we will follow that Z, that thing or substance, rather than fixate on the remainder. Thanks for listening, you guys, and watching.
Thank you so much, Lauren.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Alright, bye.
Thanks.
I think it's fun to watch, but